for, we can't stand, we don't like, we hate Melissa and Joe. All this old stuff about Melissa is coming out.
Like,
Oh
what
my
has come
God.
out
Okay.
now?
What's coming out is this. So when I was filming, I'm going to tell you a backstory. Okay.
Tell me. People love the
Okay. I
backstories,
know.
Jim. Tell me.
So when I was filming, the girls came to my store. They always come to the store. So this was the season where the Bulldog episode came out. Melissa's ex-boyfriend, Bulldog. This is what everyone's saying, and this is what they were saying back then. Okay. Melissa supposedly was not living with her girlfriend when she met Joe Gorga. She supposedly was living with this Bulldog. Now, this is all supposed, okay, but these are all the stories that I heard back then. So one time, and then she met Joe. They're saying because he had a ton of coin at the time, she jumped all over it. And she, her and Bulldog was saying, listen, I'm not going to be with you. Like, we're not getting married. This is just a fling. Supposedly she was a little wild. She was one of the wildest in Tom's River. And she winds up going with Joe. She moves in with them right away. Whatever, then they get married. Okay. So now fast forward. This poor girl, Jan, was her maid of honor. And I find out that Jan was with Melissa at Sushi Lounge, and Melissa had a little tryst with her ex Bulldog while she's married to Joe, okay, in the parking lot. Jan does not want to come on the show. I don't want to come on the show. I don't want to come on the show. Me, what do? I go to her salon and I talk her into coming on the show. Come on, Jan, it's going to be good for your salon. It's good for business. Come on and do it, right? The poor girl comes on the show. We're filming at Teresa's launch party. Everybody's in gold. Could have been the Fabellini. I think it was the Fabellini. I'm in gold. Everybody's in gold. A couple of my friends were invited. A couple of my big boy friends were invited. And I see that they're trying to attack Jan, saying, you're a liar. You just came on, blah, blah, blah. You're a liar. I'm like, she's not a liar. She didn't want to come on the show. She's not lying. So this all got brushed under the carpet again as a cheating rumor. Now the Bulldog situation in my store, Posh. I still have the sweatshirt. It has a Bulldog on the back. It was in Posh. I kept one. Teresa comes in, me, Teresa, Jacqueline, and I forget who else was in the store, are laughing because she's like, oh my God, Bulldog, Melissa's ex-boyfriend. And of course, everyone agreed that they believed this story was true. Okay. But she keeps getting away with these things. This poor girl, Jen, there was no reason for her to lie. It wasn't like she wanted to get on the show. They destroyed her. They went at her, Joe and Melissa were screaming at her. Meanwhile, I try to butt in and the producers push me out of the way. They're like, no. I try to stick up for her. They're like, no, you can't, whatever. So this poor girl was so upset with me for doing that to her. And again, no reason to lie. This was her maid of honor. And Jan also told me that the minute Melissa got on the show, all her friends that knew about her past and who she really was before, she completely nixed all of them. Didn't bother. When Jan opened up her salon, she didn't go to the salon and try to help her promote it. Nothing like that. Just completely tossed everybody aside like a stale crust of bread. So these are the things that some of these people do. But yeah, I still have the sweatshirt with the Bulldog on the back. And Teresa was one of the ones that go, oh yeah, that was Melissa's ex, Bulldog. Now, Bulldog at this time comes on and goes, it's all true. It's all true. You could call me. This is my number. He was tweeting it out. And I still have his Instagram. I think his name is Mike. And this is all true and blah, blah, blah. So he wanted to come out. But again, everything was squashed. It's always squashed when it comes to the Gorgas.
How did you hear about this? First, can you believe I don't even remember Bulldog on the TV?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't remember this.
Yeah. And that's when I went to film. And I was going to be confronted by Joe Gorga about these rumors about Melissa cheating. And supposedly I was the one spreading it. So I'm in the car with my mother and Kristen, and we're on our way to Portobello. And one of the producers calls in the car. This will all be in my book. And he's on speaker. And he says, Kim, don't worry. We hired extra security. I'm like, what? We hired it. I go, for what? He goes, well, you never know how Joe Gorga is going to act. I go, whoa, whoa, whoa. You think that Joe Gorga is going to get physical with me? Well, we just never know. They know. They know how he is with women. So my mother looks at me like, what in the world? So they bring me upstairs. There was 2 floors. I'm drinking. I'm having a good time. I'm like, fuck you. Like, I'm not scared of Joe Gorga, you know? That's when Jacqueline and Chris, Kathy and Richie, and the Gorgas were downstairs. And Jacqueline said, this isn't going down with Kim. You are not going to get physical with her. You are not going to scream and yell at her, not like on my watch. It's not going to happen. And that's the night. So now I come, I'm walking through. They call me over to the table, and Melissa and Joe start making out like no one could get in between us. And you see this on air. We're good. We're going to know. I'm like, okay, that's cool. No one can get in between you. Meanwhile, we all make up on camera, and the producers are fuming. They're fuming because we're having a good time. We're getting drunk. And that's when me, my mother, Kristen, we all, after the cameras shut down, they were so mad. We go in the back, we're all partying, we're all getting drunk. And that's when Melissa and Kathy came to me and my mother and said, Teresa Giudice is talking behind your back and you're her only good friend. That all happened that night. And this was all over the Bulldog story.
Well, first of all, look at these producers. Was it Carlos King who called you?
No, Carlos was off already.
Look at these shady motherfucking producers. They're calling you or telling you secure. God only knows if that was true or not. You know what I mean? Like,
no, there was. No, there was.
But you know what I mean. These
I know exactly what you mean.
They're like, let's rile up Kim and scare her. And they are, these guys are good. These producers are good, man.
Yeah. But my mother was like, first of all, my mother was my biggest advocate, and she was very tough. And if he ever did something like that in front of my mother, it would have been war. But Jacqueline Larita handled the situation, and so did Chris with class, and so did Kathy and Richie. And Kathy went up to my mom and she goes, I want you to understand, like, your daughter is so loyal to Teresa and does all these things for Teresa. And Teresa is just like, I don't need Kim D to film. I don't need this. I don't need, because none of them were filming with her. And I went home and I was drinking. Kristen, hopefully I could get the information for Kristen so I could continue this story. I called Teresa on the carpet. When I got home, I'm like, Teresa, I heard you were talking about me and you said you didn't care about filming me. And Teresa, of course, denied it. And it caused a little bit of a rift between me and T. We were okay, but I knew